Hey everybody, this is 7Demo7 and this is the Runcam Eagle early review, and I'll also be posting up some flight footage as well. As you guys can see, it comes in the standard Runcam box, which is really nice because I know that my camera is going to be protected in here even if it gets a little shipping damage. So the question that I have for myself is, why do I want a Runcam Eagle? What is setting this camera apart from any other camera that's on the market? And I have a few theories that I'm going to go over with you guys. Number one is going to be the 16:9 aspect ratio. It's a true 16:9. It's not a 4:3 that's stretched out. From what I've seen online, there's a much truer 16:9 than what some companies tend to claim. The other major selling point of this camera is going to be the Global WDR, which is wide dynamic range. That means when it's looking at the field of view, when it's looking at your picture, it's going to take into consideration the entire screen and try and keep all of that in focus and in the proper light. When I talked to the rep, he said what's going to set this camera apart from all the others is fly directly into the sun, and you will see the difference. Now, I tend to get a lot of bursting when I fly into the sun, and sometimes the ground goes dark when that happens, so I'm going to take a look at that as well. The other thing is it has the 800 TV lines. Now, that is a good thing when it comes to zooming in your picture. Now, this has a 130-degree field of view, but you can actually have 5 steps of zoom in this. So like, let's say if you zoomed in, we know that it mainly transmits at about 600 TV line, I believe, if someone can correct me on that. But if you were to zoom in, it actually keeps the image actually quite crisp. Of course, what I love about all these new these modern cameras is it's 5 to 22 volts. And it's NTSC. So let's go ahead and open this up. All right. Of course, it has to be said that Runcam is always very, very good about customer service. Everyone I've heard of that's had a problem usually has had their problems taken care of fairly quickly. So that's really nice. So it says, if you have problems, contact us, please. Now, this is a pre-production sample. That means that this is not painted. This is a metal case, and it looks really nice. The plugs are on the top this time. Take off this. It has a very nice looking lens here. Let's see what else is in the box. It's going to have all your standard mounts and connections, obviously. Here is our initial mount. It has the pivot style mounts that we've seen on the Owl and the Swift. So let's take a look here. It doesn't look like there's any other backing plates here. Now, this type of a mount operates typically with, oh, never mind. I was going to say, usually they have this little bump here on the back lid, but actually it has 2 screw points there so that you can actually pivot this camera. So this camera is going onto my legit Wing 40. I have a shell camera right here that I'm going to be replacing this with. Hopefully it'll be in that area right there, or maybe possibly just right on top here. I don't need this to be a super aerodynamic rig, so I don't need to have it down in here. Okay, so it looks like there is multiple mounting points on the bottom, which I really like. I don't like to be forced to having the mounting point right in the center. I'm talking about the lower half here. Let me get this out of the package. I'm talking about this right here. It's nice to put 2 holes through, or 1 in the center that you can rotate this right and left, and then put a 2nd and 3rd screw through so it'll keep this in place. Now this is going to key in just like, let's see, how's this going to work? Like I said, this is a pre-production sample, so yours, when this comes to market, might be slightly different. So that you're going to line up the holes here, and the 2nd hole is right there. Looks like you can actually pivot this really nicely up and down. Alright, so let's see here. And we're going to have our standard connections, RCA and power in, I believe. Yes, that's this one here. We have a OSD controller, which has a standard little push button joystick here. We'll get into that in a minute. And as always, nice soft silicone wires that will plug into the back of the camera. There we go. Alright, these are the leads that'll go off to your video transmitter. You have positive, negative, and also your video wire here. And like I said, the cables are going to come out to the top, and if you want to plug in your OSD cable, you'll get this little guy here. There we go. Okay, so let me grab my monitor and we'll take a look at what this looks like when it's on. Okay guys, so I have the Runcam ready to go here. I have the Quantum Elite 200 milliwatt video transmitter right here. I'm going to go ahead and plug in to the power, which is going to go into my VTX, which is going to power my camera. Alright, so let's just do a channel scan real quick. First things that I can see is that the image looks pretty clear here, and the oranges look pretty true to orange here. Let's take a look at this Runcam bag here. That looks pretty good. Okay, one thing I am noticing is there's a bit of noise in the camera, so you can kind of see this the pixels kind of running around here. So let me see if I can change that. Now I watched Spotify Pirate. I'll put a link to his channel down below, but he basically told me one way of getting rid of that. Now I don't know if the image is going to look like this when you're in flight. This is fairly close up and in close proximity and in different types of lighting here. So let's just take a look. So I'm aiming this directly at my lights. You can see me. So let's take a look at my light over here. This is my brighter light. So look at that. I mean, normally with a camera like this, you would just be whited out, so you wouldn't be able to see anything. So I'm going to see if I can take out a little bit of that noise here. And basically he said to go to Image Enhance. Let me put the lens cap cover on here. Image, go to Image Enhance, and let's see, Detail and Edge. Let's see, Sharpness. So he said basically to go here, and we'll set this to manual, and Edge is going to be manual, and we're going to go set this to 4, and that should take out some of that that noise. And what noise is just, like I said, it's kind of like pixels kind of jumping around, kind of a different type of picture. Okay, so let's go to Return. So we have white dynamic range on, brightness at 44. I think he bumped that down a little bit. I'll just leave it at stock setting for right now. Zoom in. Okay, the zoom in feature is pretty cool. Now check this out. Okay, this is standard 130 degree field of view, and so as you're zooming in, since this is 800 TV line, you're still going to have quite a bit of sharpness as you're going in. There's level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, and level 5, and that's a lot of zoom. That's pretty neat. So if you're running a large, a fixed wing aircraft and you're way high up, and this might actually be nice to have it zoomed in a little bit so things don't look so different. Okay guys, I'm back. I had a little bit of a scare. I was in the middle of doing my review here, and I thought that the camera actually failed, but you know what actually happened was that my LiPo actually went flat in the middle of doing this video. So anyway, I'm taking a look at the walls over here, and I'm seeing less noise, which is nice. It's not completely gone. I might mess with the settings later on, but the next scenes that you guys should be seeing is me flying this. We'll see how this is going to go as a flight camera. I'm going to get this mounted up to my Legit Wing 40, and we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping to see some really great video. You know, I fly a lot of the times late in the day up at Kite Hill when the sun is going down, so this should be a great test for this type of a camera. Okay guys, so I was looking for some alternative ways to mount this camera because I have a non-standard camera on the front of my Legit Wing. Standardly there is a GoPro box here that houses your camera. So I'm going to run this on top here. It's going to look about like that. I'm not overly concerned with aerodynamics on this airplane because it's kind of a cruiser airplane. It's not meant to go super fast, even though it can go fast. So basically I ran my cables up through the back here. This is going to go in here. This passes through my battery bay and over into my VTX, which is going to be here. We should have some Runcam Eagle onboard footage coming up pretty soon. Now, all this footage that's going to happen, unfortunately, is going to be super compressed because my computer does not handle AVI files. So basically, I always have to upload my videos to YouTube, which gets compressed, and then I download a MP4 version of that, which is even worse, and then I re-upload it to YouTube. So Maybe I will put up a short video flight of just one compression, just uploading it to YouTube. I'll put that up as a raw file. So you guys can look forward to that, so you can actually see what I see in the monitor, even though it is still compressed. But from everything that I've heard, this is a great little camera. I'm going to go ahead and get this glued in place, get everything hooked up, and we'll see you out at the field. Hey guys, we're going to go for our first FPV flight on the 40. Also first flight for the Runcam Eagle test flight. Well, okay guys, so this is obviously the HD footage from my Runcam 2. But I do want to point out here, when I'm going to be turning back into the sun, what happens to the image. Basically, things are going to go pretty dark in the landscape here, as you can see. So in just a moment, we're going to transition to the Runcam Eagle, which is going to definitely do a really good job of looking into the sun and keeping the colors down in the foreground. So let's take a quick peek at that. Okay guys, so one thing I want to emphasize here is that this video has been compressed twice and it's not good. But as you can see here, looking at the sun here, you can see actually all the detail in the mountains in the background. Obviously things are pixelated, but the sky looks really fantastic. So this time of day I usually get a lot of black in the landscape area. When I turn around here, some of the in my goggles, it actually looked a little bit muddied a little bit, so there's not as fine detail with the darks, the blacks. So I think what Runcam does is they actually kind of tonally change everything so it doesn't have as crisp of a look to it, yet it handles light very, very well, which as an FPV pilot ends up being very, very important, because you have to see where you're going, and this camera does that. Okay guys, so what we're seeing now is the Runcam 2 on the left and the Runcam Eagle on the right, the FPV camera, and the Runcam 2, which is the HD camera, is doing what a lot of typical FPV cameras do when they look directly into the sun. The horizon goes black and you can't see anything. So we're going to zoom around here in just a moment. We'll come back to the sun. So even though you lose a lot of detail with the Runcam Eagle as far as color depth, you're gaining your confidence in your screen, because you can actually see the terrain that you're trying to follow. I fly here a lot of times as the sun is going down, and I run into this issue all the time where I just can't see where I'm going. So this is a nice kind of an eye-opening test here. It ends up a little bit being like a tool that you need to take out of your pocket when you need it. So guys, on the left you'll see what I typically fly when I'm at Kite Hill, just a bright bursting sun with a lot of dark horizon, and very hard to fly and to judge your distances. Runcam Eagle on the other hand, you see a bright sun, but it's contained, and you can see all the detail in the bottom. Of course you don't see as much detail, of course you don't see as many features, and it doesn't look as colorful. Like I said, that is going to be a trade-off when you're running this cam. Now, obviously, I have not played with the settings at all with this camera. I'm going to tweak it a little bit, and I will get back to you guys on those settings. So guys, what do I think about this camera? And I think what it comes down to is what your priorities are. This is a really great camera for low light applications, or when you have a low sun that you need to fly into. It is really fantastic. The other thing that's great about this camera is that it has the true 16:9 aspect ratio, and you don't get that on a lot of other cameras. You get a lot of functionality with the OSD system as well, so that's nice. Form factor is fantastic. It's a little heavier than some of the plastic cameras because of the metal housing, but they have improved the tilt function of the camera, obviously. Now, I think that if you want a more true color in your video, you'll probably want to go with the Runcam Swift, which does a fantastic job. But like I said, this is all these cameras that we have. They're like tools in our toolbox. If you know you're going to be flying in these types of situations, which I am, I would definitely choose this camera, because you can definitely check the details of areas where you're flying into the sun would be very, very difficult. So
Take that for what it's worth, guys. I hope you enjoyed this initial look at the Runcam Eagle. It is a fantastic camera from a great company, and I'll keep the videos coming, guys, and I'll talk to you guys very, very soon. Thank you.